Hi, I'm Bruce Bonebrake. The single most important safety system for your vehicle is the brakes. Losing the ability to stop or slow down almost always results in a collision. So proper care and maintenance is vital to ensure that your brakes are always there when you need them. On this installment of the AutoZone video series, we'll show you how a typical brake system works, ways to care for your car's brakes so they'll last as long as possible, and how to diagnose the most common problems. We're also going to perform a complete system service so you can see what to do when your brakes need repair. Drum-style brakes are older technology that's been used for many decades, while disc brakes started becoming commonplace in the 70s. Newer vehicles will have a combination of the two, with disc brakes on the front and drum brakes on the rear wheels, or they'll have disc brakes on all four wheels. The brake systems used on your grandparents' vehicles have changed a lot through the years, and that's due to modern technology. But in principle, they work exactly the same. Friction. Friction is created when two surfaces contact each other. That's a brake system. A good example of that is on this bicycle. This is a real simple system. We have a hand-operated cable system. The cable goes down to a caliper. The caliper is applied and pushes the brake pad to the wheel. Let me show you. As I rotate the wheel, I apply pressure on the handle, and you can see it stops the wheel. The more pressure I apply, the faster it's going to stop. This is basically how a brake system works. That contact point between the pad and the wheel is where our friction is created. Now, the most common system used today is a disc brake system. Here's a working example of what that system looks like. Let's just start with some of the parts to this. First off, let's start with our rotor. The rotor is the flat plate that's connected to the wheel. As the rotor spins, you'll see inside of here we have two pads. There's one on the outboard, and we have the inboard pad. This is the caliper that holds the pads in place. How this works is real simple. Your foot is connected to the master cylinder. That's this part here. It contains the brake fluid. As you press your foot down on the brake pedal, there's a rod inside the master cylinder. It takes fluid out of the reservoir, forces it through this hose into the caliper. When that fluid's in the caliper, there's a piston inside there. That fluid's on the back side of the piston. It'll apply the piston to the inboard pad. When that happens, the caliper is a sliding type of caliper. It'll slide this way and apply the outboard pad. This is actually a working simulator of how a disc brake system works. Let me show you. Okay, we turn it on. Now the way this works, the lever is the same as the brake pedal on your vehicle. As I press the lever, you're going to watch the rotor. You're going to see that it slowly comes to a stop. Now the more effort I give it, the faster it's going to stop. Now how this works is simple. You can really see it now with this operating. If you look inside the caliper, we have the inboard and we have the outboard disc pads. As I apply pressure, you'll see the caliper actually applying the disc pads. When I release, they release. Now the disc pads are one part that's going to just normally wear out. Here's an example of that right here. Now this set of disc pads, these have been replaced, and if you look at these, there's like for one wheel, there's the two for the other wheel. We even have the wear tab that's mounted on the inboard pad. Now these disc pads, if you look at these, they're all worn out about the same. We're about maybe 1/4 of the thickness left from when they were new. So they were changed right in time. Now here's another example. These are a lot larger brake. This was off of a medium or heavy duty truck, more than likely a 1-ton vehicle. Now these have been replaced as well. This is the outboard shoe. This is the inboard shoe. Now if you look at them, there's a drastic difference here in the amount of friction material that's left. The outboard shoe, there's almost no friction material left. And on the inboard shoe, we still have quite a bit of friction material. Well, this is one side. Let's look at the other side. The other side of the same vehicle, because you buy the pads, is set for both wheels, which would be 4 disc pads. If you look at the outboard pad, we're almost metal to metal. If you look at the inboard pad, we are metal to metal. So this tells me that not only are the brakes worn out, there's a reason that the disc pads wore out unevenly. This might have had a bad caliper. It might have had a bad brake hose. There was something that was causing this brake to drag. So there'd be more components needed to be replaced. These are the old brake pads. Now if you look at this, here's a set of brand new disc pads, and you'll see the amount of pad material that was originally on the pads. Now you compare that to this one over here, you'll see that there's quite a bit of difference in the pad material. Well, it's normal for the friction material to wear out. This is the part of the brake that's normally is going to wear out, and eventually is going to need to be replaced. And that's what we're here to do today, to go ahead and replace the brakes. Let's get started. Today we'll be working on a 2001 Dodge Caravan, a very common vehicle. Its brake system is a four-wheel disc system. The time needed to service a brake system will vary depending on the vehicle, but in general, it'll just take a few hours. Always consult a service manual for specific details and instructions that apply to your make and model. Something to keep in mind is that the vehicle's front brakes do most of the stopping. On some cars, the rear brakes will do 40% of the work, while on others, they'll do as little as 20%. For that reason, you'll find the front brakes almost always wear out faster than the rear. However, you should always inspect the rear brakes whenever you replace the front brakes. As with any job, to do it right, you'll need the right tools. The nice thing is, the jobs we'll be covering today don't require a large, expensive assortment. Basic hand tools are generally all you'll need. In case where a specialty tool is required, be sure to check with AutoZone's Loan a Tool program. They have many specialty tools that can help you complete your job a lot quicker and easier. The first things you'll need are a socket set, brake line wrench, drop light, and a repair manual for your specific vehicle. You may also need screwdrivers or pliers to remove some components. A torque wrench is necessary for tightening nuts and bolts to the correct specifications. To get under the vehicle, you'll need a good jack, some wheel blocks, and some sturdy jack stands. Finally, a good supply of oil dry, an assortment of rags, and a quality hand cleaner are must-have items for easy cleanup after the job is finished.